Come in.
Hello, Mr. Fournier.
Yeah.
My name is Tolupe Kuteyi. Very nice to meet you this afternoon.
Pleasure meeting you.
Here's my business card right there for you.
Great. Thanks.
Do you mind if I sit some of my stuff down here?
Feel free.
Thank you so much.
My desk is your desk.
Very much appreciated.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Would you actually mind if I use my own laptop? I brought it here today.
It's perfectly fine with me.
Thank you. Don't mean to rearrange your desk there.
That's right. There's not too much on it anyway.
Again, I'd like to thank you for granting me this meeting. We are still good for 20 minutes, is that correct?
We've got about 20 minutes.
Okay. Just want to make sure of that.
Okay, how was your drive up?
It was actually really good. The traffic wasn't so bad today.
No kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, had some good weather out there finally, huh?
It is nice.
Yeah.
What I brought here for you today is a Japanese teacup.
Really?
And let me tell you the story behind that. My best friend, Candace Chandler, she recently just opened a Japanese antiques shop. And I went over there to visit her just to see how everything was going about a few weeks ago. And the story behind why she wanted me to give this to your company is 2 years ago she was considered obese and she had diabetes. And so she made it a plan in her life to get exercising and get going. But of course, you know, she has a sweet tooth just like all of us.
Yeah.
So she started using sweetness and light candy, and she said it just changed her. And I went there and she was actually eating it while I was visiting her shop, and he was like, you know what, I'm meeting with them 2 weeks from now. And she was just like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm meeting with them. I'm going to talk to them about Axoff. And she's like, please give them this. They've helped me so much in the process. She's lost over 150 pounds.
Wow. Well, it is low calorie.
Yes, and she's, you know, no more diabetics, and it's perfect. It's wonderful.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we can help her out.
Wanted me to relay that to
Which
you.
candy was she eating, do you know?
I think it was the caramel chocolate chip one.
Oh, okay.
She loves chocolate, and I'm a big chocolate fan myself. So.
Did she have any of the cherry ones?
I don't believe so. I think she was just munching on that chocolate caramel chocolate chip one.
The cherry ones we had, they named after my wife who just recently passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're fantastic. You should try some sometime.
I'll make sure to try some and grab some for her as well.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
I'd be happy to help you out.
Well, Mr. Foreigner, like I said, I'm here today to learn more about sweetness and light candy and let you know a little bit more about Axe Software and see if we can build a business relationship at the end of the day. How does that sound?
It's fair.
Okay, so what I would like to do is ask you a few questions to get a better assessment of your company, okay?
Okay.
Do you mind if I write some things down?
Take some time. What you
Okay.
need to do.
Now, are you currently using any Salesforce automation software?
No, not at all.
Okay, so what are you using? Outlook? Excel? Nothing?
Well, I mean, we do have Outlook on our computers for, email.
Okay.
And I know they're using Excel in the accounting team just to kind of keep track of some orders and things like that. But from a sales point perspective, no, they just use paper.
Okay, just paper?
Yep.
Now, are you currently seeking any Salesforce automation vendors?
Hadn't. No.
Just us today?
I took the call and figured it might be something interesting to hear about.
Well, thank you for accepting that call and granting me this appointment.
Not a problem.
Okay. Now, I'm going to go verify some of the information I have in your company. Please let me know if anything is incorrect.
Okay.
Okay. You're operated only in Georgia, right?
Right now, yep.
Okay. And you have your own retail candy shops, but you do sell to other retail stores, department stores. Is that correct? Okay. Your sales staff is about 5 people?
Right now, yeah.
Okay. So would you say right now, are you looking to expand on that?
Yeah, actually we are hoping to at some point.
Okay, do you know how many you're looking to expand to?
Well, ultimately we'd like to get up to about 25.
Okay.
It's probably going to take us, I don't know, probably within the year or so. But I think in the next few months we really need to get up to probably about 10.
Okay, next few months 10.
But 25 is our pretty much our bigger goal there.
Okay, thank you for giving me that information. And you're also considering marketing to fundraising programs such as schools. Yep,
that's why we got to staff up.
You know, as a parent, I have to do that with my daughter. She comes in and she has the list filled out for me to come and sell to my company of the candy. So I see it being a very beneficial market for you to get into.
Well, you're a parent?
Yes.
Well, I have a son and a daughter who are on my sales team right now.
Oh, really?
And that's where they got their start, was selling the candy in the classrooms like that.
All right. Okay, thank you for verifying that information for me. Very helpful. So now I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you please answer the best you can. Okay?
I'll try.
Thank you. As you plan on expanding, how do you plan on keeping track of your growing market?
It's a good question. I don't really know. That's going to be a big problem for us, I think.
Okay, and if you don't figure out how to do that, how is that going to impact you in the future as you're planning on growing?
Well, I think it's probably going to impact us because, like I said, we want to grow. We want to try to get into some of those markets, and I think we're going to have to figure out a better way to understand who those customers are and when we can get back in touch with them.
All right, and you also mentioned that you're looking into going into the schools. So with your different customer segment base, do you have something that already segments them for you?
No.
Okay. So you don't have a system that's already segmenting that for you?
No, right now we're just operating any sales that come out of that, or we've got some and as well as mail orders. Those are coming out of the retail shops right now.
Okay. And you currently have the sales force of 5, and you're looking to expand to the 10 and the 25.
Mm-hmm.
How are they keeping in contact and track of your customers and customer prospects and retaining their customers?
Yeah, they're doing that. Like I said, it's all on paper.
Still on paper.
Yeah, and I've had that team with me for 2 of them for their entire lives, but
Right.
the other 3 they've been with me long enough, and I trust them. They're good people, but I'm concerned that when we grow to the larger staff, how are we even going to come across doing that? I'm not a sales manager at all, and trying to manage a new larger group.
Right. So with everything being on paper, has there ever been a time when information was kind of lost?
Yeah.
And how did that affect your company with information being lost?
Well, it's hurt us. I can remember a time where it was a customer had placed an order with us, and we weren't able to get it to them because we just had lost the paperwork on it.
And if that continues to happen, what kind of impact would that have on your business?
Well, if it continues to happen, I don't think I'll be in business too much longer.
Okay. And do you currently have a distribution center for where your candy's, stored?
Well, like I said, we operate most of it out of the retail offices, the retail stores, yeah.
And how is your sales force and your retail office communication geared at?
They just call them up and just tell them to send
Just
an
a
order
phone
when
call?
they need to, yeah.
Okay. And do you request some type of weekly reports from your salespeople just to keep track of how they're doing and how their growth is maintaining?
I don't really request it. They send the information, the placed orders over to our accounting system, and like I say, they just dump that stuff into Excel, and I just see reports on that.
And how accurate do you believe those reports are?
That's a good question. I don't know. I assume they're appropriately done.
And so with your salespeople taking the time to send these reports out, how much time do you think that they're taking away from being in front of the customer?
Well, they can be in front of the customer. They're here in the office anyway, so in between phone calls they're doing that. It's just a function of their job.
Okay.
They probably spend maybe an hour or 2 a day.
Hour or 2 a day? Okay. And how do you currently maintain communication with your sales force?
Well, again, like they're here in the office, so it's just a lot of FaceTime when we have the ability to do that.
And how effective do you think that has been?
Well, the kids, I get to smack them around at dinner time a little bit with some of the issues, but in terms of the other guys, just when they're here in the office, and I think it's pretty effective.
Okay, so whenever you have to relay a message to them,
Oh, come in.
Eric, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were in with somebody.
Oh, that's all right. Why don't you come on in?
My name is Tolupe Kuteyi.
Hey, how are
Tolu
you?
for short.
Oh, hi. How are you? I'm Mike.
Very nice to meet
This is
you.
Nice
my
to
Uncle
meet you,
Mike.
too.
He's involved in the business as well.
Oh.
I'm sorry to interrupt. When you get a minute, grab me. That direct mail campaign is going out next week. 15,000 people. We've got to talk about how we're going to track it. We've got to talk about getting staff for it.
Okay.
We're going to be swamped.
Jeez,
All right.
okay.
So grab me when you finish.
Well, actually, do you mind sitting in on this? Tolu's telling me a little bit about a software system that might help us to manage the sales force.
No. All right.
You
Well,
got
sure.
a couple
If you don't
minutes?
mind.
No, please do.
All right. Well, sure.
Okay, it's actually wonderful that you just walked in because I was just about to get into the product presentation.
Oh,
And
okay.
actually, what you mentioned is something that he mentioned
Now,
earlier.
just to clarify, this is around keeping track of our clients and.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And Tolo, I hope you don't take this wrong, but I'm a little concerned in that you look awfully young. You look great,
Thank
but you
you.
look awfully young.
Thank
Yeah, you're
you.
welcome. But I'm a little concerned about, no offense, but your experience, if you've got enough experience to really help us in this situation. We've got so much invested in this, and it's going to be such a large move for us. I just worry a little bit about, do you feel like you've got the experience to really be able to help us out here?
So let me understand, your issue is not necessarily that I look young, but the fact that I might not have the experience
Very
necessarily to
true.
handle your account.
Very true.
Well, that is an understandable concern. Mr.
You call me Mike, please.
Mike, that's a very understandable concern, Mike, and let me assure you that I do have a lot of experience in this industry. I've been in this industry going on 2 years now, but I've been in sales going on 5.
Great.
Also, I have right here, just some customer testimonials to just let you know that, you know, I've done work for them for a company similar in size.
Mhm.
So I've handled companies similar in your size, and I also work in this territory, so I know this territory very well. Does that answer your concern about being, probably not being inexperienced?
Yeah, it's great to hear you've got that kind of experience behind you. That's great.
I'll also send some referrals, and if you would appreciate that a little later, how about that?
Thank you.
I
Helpful.
think that works.
Okay, now let's get into the part of presentation. Now, I remember you said something about being able to track, and you mentioned that also coming in, being able to track. And you also mentioned direct mail, and I'm gonna show you how we can do that as well. And you mentioned also, you know, keeping track of your customers, especially since you're not segmented right now and you're looking to expand.
Mhm.
Staff, you know, you're currently on paper, and you did have that lost information, and you definitely don't want to see that affecting your business in any way. If I can show you how ACT can handle all these situations, do you think that's a product that you would like to be interested in?
Might be interested in hearing about it. Of course,
Okay.
you know, I'd like to know how much it's going to cost us. We don't really have a lot of cash flow to be, you know, throwing around at these things right now either.
And a lot of initiatives going on.
That's true.
So let me understand, with cost and your growth going on, you definitely don't want to implement a system that's not going to work for you, is that correct?
Yeah. Well, it's going to cost me a lot either.
Of course, and I understand that, especially with the growth stage, you definitely don't want to be investing in anything that's not going to help your company, and I'm guaranteed to show you how that is going to help. And then I'm going to talk over a little more about price a little later. How does that sound?
It's fair.
Okay, so does that answer your objection about price?
Yeah.
Okay,
For now.
so now let's get into the software. Let me go ahead and click on in here. Automatically, when you open ACT, you're going to automatically see customer detailed information. And this is basically going to tell you the company, contact, everything you need to know about a customer. How does that sound to have that right there open for your salespeople?
No.
Now we can go it down to their birthday on here to build on all that customer relationship, which is key for any business. How does that sound? Okay?
That'd be helpful.
Okay, and also as you grow, you're gonna have to find a way to keep those contact lists in line and in check. That way your sales force will be able to automatically pull it instead of having to go into a file cabinet or a Rolodex, correct?
I'm kind of a Rolodex kind of man
Oh,
myself,
you
but that's
are?
okay.
Well, if you click this button right here, go ahead and click that button for me. Right there.
That one?
That one, automatically get your customer list down. So you have all your customers in line, and all you have to do will be type in who you're looking for. You can pop up that information for them. So let's go ahead and pop up this information. And also what's great about ACT is we can also segment your markets. So we can segment it by schools, retail stores, your store, in fact. How does that sound?
No, that'd be helpful.
Very
Now, how does that
beneficial.
kind of information get entered?
That gets in when we come and we implement the system. What you'll do is you'll give us the things that we need to enter into the system. We kind of display it for how you want us to customize it for you. That way no information is lost. And I remember you mentioned information not being lost on paper. Everything is stored right here and has access for you guys. How does that sound?
So you guys are going to be part of our sales team, that we can just give you the orders and you'll place it in for us all the
Now,
time?
we won't be part of the sales team, unfortunately, but what we will do is be here to help you integrate the system and help you implement the system, which all comes back into the cost, we'll discuss later.
Okay, but
Okay.
so who's got to do the data entry day to day?
Day to day, it will be your salespeople, and what we will do is show them how to do it. And it's going to be very simple once we get everything in line and integrated.
I'm always worried about how much time that's going to take from
Yeah.
a kind of a data input standpoint, and it seems like a lot of typing, doesn't it?
Well, you know, you also mentioned that everybody's currently using it on paper.
Uh-huh.
That ticket is going to be the same time and have it put in here, and then information is not going to be lost. So then again, that's time you're going to gain by not having to look for something. It's right there for you. How does that sound?
Just
Makes
one way of
sense.
putting it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go here into, you mentioned keeping track of your customers. Now a great thing about ACT is that not only are we able to keep track of customers, we're able to know exactly what happened on the last call. How beneficial do you think that would be? Especially
Pretty good.
since you mentioned that you were considering about adding some more salespeople to your staff. If they can
A
have
lot
that
of salespeople
information,
in a hurry, right?
exactly. If you can have that information readily available for you, how do you think beneficial that would be? That way, when it comes to training them, they already have that information right there for them, and they're not standing on ground one when they start. They're already miles ahead, as if they had the account from the beginning. Sounds good?
Well, I mean, it's just, you know, we're going to be not bringing everybody in all at once either.
Of course not, but just as they come in, it's already implemented there for you, and it's not going to be a hassle to get them rolling and productive.
Well, I mean, I'm not a sales guy, and Mike's not a sales guy. You know, I've never even seen the system. I'm not that computer savvy either. So, I mean, are you guys gonna be available to train the new hires when we get them?
We do provide consultants who come in and discuss training. If that's also implemented in the cost. But we also do follow-up calls, which is one of the benefits of ACT software. We come out and we do follow-up calls just to make sure everything is aligned. We might want to add stuff, take stuff away, just to make sure this software is the best use for your sales force. Does that answer your objection about that? Does that clarify a little
Yeah,
for you?
I guess, I'm just,
I mean, I'm still not real sure, is that ongoing training then, that's included, or?
It's going to be follow-up training it's
Okay.
included. The initial training is
So the
automatically included, and we'll be consulting you every now and then.
Okay,
Just
so
to see
with
how
new
you're doing. But we
hires-
do also have a customer service, so you can call in for us.
alright.
Okay? Now you also mentioned something about reports and getting to know what's going on within your company. Right here, if you click right here on reports, what's great about this software is we can generate reports for your salespeople, your company as a whole, and how beneficial would that be for as you grow and you know how your company is doing.
Well, that'd be pretty helpful for us to know.
Sure
I mean, we
would.
don't know how we're gonna
And
manage
we
these
can
guys
do it
now.
by segmentation, which is
Mhm.
what you're looking to find as well, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So you click right here, go ahead and click that button. And automatically there you get that report. You get to see how your salespeople are doing.
Hmm.
How does that sound?
No,
That's,
give us some ways to manage these
yeah,
guys.
nice to be able to keep track, particularly the new hires.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I've showed you a little bit how this works, let me go on and talk about price, which you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
The Axe software is $199 per unit. Now that's also includes training, implementation, and integration of the system.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what's a unit?
The units per software. What the software gets stored onto each computer. Okay. Now you said you were looking to expand to 25 possibly by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Now what I can offer you is the $179 per unit for the 25 by the end of the year. And the reason why is because you're going to get a 10%. So it's actually like you're paying for 22 versus 25. How does that sound?
I have to pay for that up front even if we don't make the hires?
Well, with that, because you're expecting it to grow like that, it's good to have that system already in place. But if you feel more comfortable, like you said, in a few months you'll be hiring 10, we can also go in that route. How does that sound?
Can you give us 10 at the 25 rate?
No, unfortunately, I cannot give you 10 at the 25 rate.
What about when we hit 25, can we retro?
Again, that's a
Savings.
one-time type deal. I don't think we can
So have to buy
claim
in
that.
bulk, huh?
But I'll be sure to,
Cash flow
I'll
money.
talk to my boss and see what he says about that to make sure that everything's in line as far as that goes, since you are expecting to grow in that matter.
I mean, I think it's you know, if we do a little bit of volume, we should be able to get that discount over time.
Again, I will talk to my manager and to make sure everything is in line and see how that works.
Alright, fair
That's
enough.
fair.
So now that I've showed you how Axe software can help you, what I have here is a commitment form saying that you would want like us to come in and implement and integrate Act into your company. How does that sound?
I don't know. I mean, we've got a small team right now. I think it's, you know, I hate to make a decision today. It's the first time we're taking a look at this.
Of course.
I'd like to, you know, talk to the kids about it and certainly talk to the other 3 reps and
Well, yeah, at least give them a chance to
see
pound
it.
on it a little bit and see it before we cram it down their throats.
Okay, so let me understand. You kind of want to get a better feel for the Axe software before you decide to jump on this investment.
Well, yeah, but we're also, I mean, it's a family unit here too.
Of
And we
course.
want to make sure that we're all, you know, sort of going the same direction and that they're comfortable with the choice. I mean, it's ultimately our choice, but we want to make sure that they have a buy-in.
Well, Mr. Forner, let me tell you this. We do offer a 30-day trial period where you can implement the system and see how the system works for you then. And then at the end of 30 days, I'll come in and we'll talk and discuss with your whole entire sales force to see how they feel about it and what they might need or not need in the system. How does that sound?
I still think I'd like to talk to them about it first before we, you know, because to implement something and change the course of what they're doing right now without, you know, their input might be detrimental.
And I think we've also got to see what you think you could do around the volume pricing
Certainly.
before we can.
Yeah, we got to get a
Okay,
too
how
much
about-
number on that.
How about this? How about we set up a meeting for, let's say, Tuesday at this time again? Tuesday at 3, does that
Yeah,
sound good?
that's fine.
Okay, we'll set up a meeting for Tuesday at 3, and I'll come back with the information about increasing the volume if y'all do plan to increase to 25, and then we can sit down with the rest of your salespeople and get more aligned on what's going on.
We can have the group together for that. That's
Okay?
right.
So Tuesday at 3 p.m., that sounds good for everybody?
Yeah. Well, do me a favor. Would you be happy to bring a copy of your resume along with you too?
No problem, I'll be happy to bring that along, and the
'Cause
referrals that I mentioned
You have done
earlier.
a terrific job.
Yeah,
down
I
there.
think, you know.
I know where you're going with this.
We're trying to staff up, so I mean, if you want to take a swing over on our side, you know.
Well,
and
I'm
sell
not
candy.
guaranteeing anything. What I'm here for is for Act, and so I'm going to make sure I secure that before I go looking for something for myself. How about that?
Well, that's great, but keep an open mind because
Always
we're
do.
expanding
and
fast.
please say to
And
you
it's a
do
sweet
that as well,
company.
though. Keep an open mind, especially when it comes to Act and when I come in and talk to the rest of your team. Okay?
Alright.
So all I need you to do is sign here to verify that we're going to meet on Tuesday at 3,
I have to sign to meet.
just to make sure that everything's in order. Is that okay?
What what's the commitment that I'm making though?
That we're meeting at Tuesday at 3 p.m. to go over more